On today's video, I'm going to give you 5 tips for better crowd work. This video is a result of people asking for it in the comment section of previous videos. So if you have a question or an idea you would like me to address, please mention it in the comment section to this video and I will do my best to make that video for you. However, on with today's video, 5 tips for better crowd work. Here's tip number 1. Having all the work done before the show. This means it's not always true that the person on stage is simply improvising through each scene while talking to the audience. A lot of the time they have jokes already learnt off, and depending on what response they get from the audience, they go into the appropriate material they have learnt off. So my advice to you at the beginning, before you have much experience with talking to the audience, is simply write down what kind of questions you would ask an audience, and then write down all of the types of responses you could most likely come up with, and then all of the punchlines after those responses. So you're constantly building up a library of responses at home to use when you open up dialogue with the audience. Even if you do not get a response from an audience member that you have in your writing, you will be able to think of some funny place to go because of the writing you've done, because you've got yourself in the creative process of thinking solely about the responses from the audience. And if you do this long enough, most of the time you will really have covered 95% of what the audience are going to tell you when you open up dialogue with them. And the more you do this, the less you will need to write, because you'll get into the styling of being able to respond. And if your response to an audience member gets a large laugh from the room, you have told everyone that your responses are funny. They will believe in you. Therefore, they're not going to judge your next response as harshly as they did your first one. You only need to be funny with your responses every now and then. They simply will not remember the responses that didn't work, and they will laugh harder at the ones that do. But certainly have a few written out and learnt off and go up already ahead of your audience. I'm going to give you a bonus tip right now. In order to get the best out of your next crowd, when you perform again, you need to hit that like button. Tell me you're out there, tell me you appreciate the video, and help get more eyes on this channel. Hit that like button right now. Tip number 2 is to not forget about the valuable information you have been given from audience members when you move on to other audience members. You have been given valuable information here. You can rewrite on the spot some jokes based on the perception you create from this audience member. So depending on what jokes you have about the job description these people have, well, they mightn't suit who you are on stage to say it to them, but they might suit who this person is. Perhaps this person can have an opinion on this person. You can make up the fights in the room. You can make up who could be friends with each other in the room. There's lots of humorous places to go here. So if this person's a student and this person is a banker, well, perhaps you have a joke written down that would work well from the perception of a banker towards a student. And now you can say it, and you can just put that this person has that perception about this person. So you can connect everyone in the room in these absolutely hilarious or absurd ways. And the great thing here is you're only the messenger. Now, of course, they all understand that you're making up this perception, but you can put all the heat on somebody in the room, and that's a very funny place to go with. Certainly, if you're accusing one person of being superior to all the other people in the room, now that's a lot of fun to be had. This is why it's so important when you back in your writing to continue writing multiple styles jokes from all different people's sort of view, because you want a library in your head when you go and open up dialogue, and the more you can remember about different perceptions that people have, you can put them on your audience about each other. That's tip number 2. Tip number 3 is about relationships. When opening dialogue with any audience, you're going to have a lot of fun asking people simply if they came to the show together, what stage their relationship is at. And the reason this is so interesting to watch unfold in front of people is because the majority of times people haven't discussed in private how they're going to communicate in public about the stage of their relationship. And a lot of the time they haven't even thought about it themselves. So you might be uncovering something that they haven't even uncovered in their own private relationship. Now, there's a lot of fun to be played with here, as long as we can be respectful around the fact that we know when we open up dialogue that we are undressing something that they might not want uncovered in the room. So you need to play lightly with this, because the tension in the room does rise when you point out that this person didn't agree they were with you for that long, which is nearly always what happens. You ask two people how long they've been together and you're nearly always going to get a slightly different answer. And that, even pointing out that happened, is always a very funny place to go. And then you can dig a little deeper and find out why they gave different answers and how the relationship became to be in the first place. Lots of humorous places to go, because granted, some of your material might be about being in a relationship or might be about not being in a relationship, and you can always go right into your material whenever you decide to stop talking to the audience. So talk to them, get the tension up, get the laughs going about their relationship, and whenever you think it's time to move on, you can go in with your material about relationships. And you can even resort back to them every now and then to see if they agree with some of your points about being in a relationship or about not being in a relationship. Lots of places to play. Always include some relationship material while talking to the audience. Tip number 4 is to always pick someone in the room that's going to receive more fun poked at them than anyone else. Certainly if you're emceeing a night, you can do this throughout the entire night, always resorting back to one person who's going to get it a little worse than all the rest of them. Now, it's important to pick someone from the beginning who seems like a lot of fun and not going to take it to heart. You certainly don't want them not coming back after the interval and then the whole joke has been for nothing and you've offended someone enough that they left the room. That's not the idea here. The idea is to include someone who is up for the fun, can give a joke back, and it's all just fun. In the end of the day, they don't take it too personally. But having someone to go back to time and time again, no matter who you give a joke to and everyone laughs, you can resort back and give it a little worse to this person. And of course, at the end of the night, you can celebrate them by having everyone give a big round of applause for how good of a sport this person was. And tip number 5 is the most important of all. Always label yourself the biggest fool in the room. If you can do this early on and poke fun at yourself and open up to the kind of sarcastic things people would say about your presence and your style, then they will be more open to have you poke fun at them. Nobody wants you to take yourself too seriously. And if you take yourself too seriously, how the hell do you expect your audience to be able to open up and engage in a fun way? So get to the joke before your audience do. The chances are, as soon as you walk on stage, they have a few perceptions about you. So if you address them straight out the gate, well, it's already out in the air, it's open, and you've made a laugh out of yourself, and you've got a laugh from doing so as well. And now let's play ball with the audience. But certainly always make yourself the bigger fool in the room. So that wraps it up for this video. 5 tips on better crowd work. Let me know which ones you agree with, if all of them. Let me know which ones you do not agree with. Did you pick on someone and it went wrong for you? Let me know about what happened in the comment section. I'll dive in there myself and discuss these topics in further detail. As always, mention what video you would like to see in the comment section and I will make that video, or I will certainly do my best to make that video. As always, a massive thank you for checking this video out. If you would like to become a member of Let's Talk Comedy and help this channel out the best way you can, information in how to do so is in the description box. As always, you can click any of the links you see on your screen, get more tutorial videos and get performing your comedy career correctly. As always, I will see you on the next video. Right on.